The bad news is time flies. The good news is you're the pilot. Hi, I'm Ludwig and currently I'm conducting this experiment in which I try to build my own little side business. This quote is by Michael Altshuler, which I liked a lot, but I can't really remember anymore where I picked it up. Anyways, so far I have been mostly working on the web app, which is the core product of my project here. But starting such a side business does of course have much more to it than just the product. Like for example, creating outreach, which in my case includes documenting the journey, doing the product management or building the website/landing page. Last week I took a week off at my day job to work full-time on my SaaS project here. And one of my highest priorities for those days were to figure out how I want to build the landing page and also how I can bring all the stuff that I program here online. And here I want to now talk a bit about the design decisions I made in those days and start with the homepage. Alright, okay, then let's go. Building a homepage these days is super easy. You have all these all-in-one website builders where you can just click together and publish a website in like 4 hours. These, however, cost a bit more than other options like the super popular framework WordPress, for example. And there you have to do a bit more yourself, but WordPress is used by more than like every third website in the world. And in view of these options, me taking 2.5 days to build my own landing page is in fact rather slow. My decision here was, however, that I wanted to do the coding of it myself, and this is something you wouldn't usually have to do when using one of these toolboxes or frameworks. But in my case, it was the better option for having full customizability, being able to reuse components of the web app such as buttons or menus that I built anyways, and for easy integration of the homepage with the backend. And this means I will use the JavaScript framework Vue.js also for the front end of the landing page as I do with the web app. And then I can connect the landing page to the same database as the web app, like for parsing user data on user login, for example. Making these design decisions did not take long, and it was still Monday morning when I now had a rough plan in my head and was basically ready to start development. One thing, however, that I didn't really know yet how it works was how to put the web app and the homepage online. So before starting coding, I thought it's probably better to figure this out first. So again, when using these website builders, bringing a website online, which is called hosting, is super easy. These, and also I think there's a service with WordPress that offer just taking care of the whole hosting for you, so you don't have to deal with like setting up a domain except for choosing a name, and then just take the few bucks per month for the hosting. But with my project and the web app product, it's a completely different setup here. And it's not only about hosting a website and managing a bit of content like blog entries or images, but it's about an actual backend infrastructure with database, business logic and all that. And like I mentioned, I use Firebase for the backend, which is a Google Cloud environment. And besides services for account management, databases, etc., I thought it must also have a service for putting your stuff online. And I have never done this with Firebase before, so I first had to Google a bit. Then I quickly found the Firebase service that I was looking for, which surprisingly was called Firebase Hosting. This one even allows you to host multiple sites that are separate applications, like in my case the landing page app and the web app in the same Firebase project. And this was exactly what I was looking for, to host the homepage on the main URL or the live.io, but then have a button or something which forwards the user to the web app that then lives on a subdomain like app. Or the live.io. And this then took me around the rest of that Monday to figure out how exactly to set everything up. Mainly you do this in the web UI of Firebase and with a config file. And I think I spent then like half of that day reading through the Firebase hosting documentation and the other half then trying to get the code and the config file working, which I also managed by the end of the day, so that I was then ready to start building the homepage. The building I then started Tuesday morning. I first copied the whole Vue.js project of the web app and removed everything down to its skeleton. So I had a working foundation within 20 minutes and could immediately go on with coding the main page. And the main page does always have a super big tagline at the top, where I came up with like your time app for mindful productivity, where this mindful is always like switched out with some other words. And I know this has room for improvement, but it was what I could think of on the quick. And I think I will just wait for some better ideas here throughout the next weeks. So next to the headline, I wanted to display a screenshot of the web app. And this is often done with these laptop mock-up thingies, which I also use for now because that was what I found on the quick. But eventually I want to use something that has more of a sketch style vibe and is just the window and not the whole laptop. And then I just added a few text sections to better explain the product, and thought perhaps it's also nice to add a question or so to just create some interaction with the visitor. And then in the top bar I added a button that will later forward the user to the app demo, and a link to the blog page. There I want to document the journey of this project in form of monthly review blog entries. I will of course refine everything further, but for now I think it doesn't need much more fundamental elements. And the coding of up until this stage took me like 1.5 days. So together with the Monday of deciding which approach to take and figuring the hosting out, it adds up to 2.5 days of working on this whole thing. So, and that means I now have the landing page for my SaaS web app project almost ready. What I don't have, however, is the app itself. But the landing page is still not useless, because I can already start creating some publicity with it and drive people to it, spark interest, and perhaps even allow users to already sign up for the beta test phase of the app. Alright, if you are interested in learning more about my work on the app and how a pencil helped me coding, check out this video from last week. We will see each other again the next time, and until then, have a fantastic day.